yet another political podcast. Come together and yap with us.
Welcome to another episode of Yet Another Podcast, where we talk about the stupidest things in the political realm this week. With me today is Adam.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
And while there is so many things that we could have made the week about, the big three that I had highlighted in the title, L, an M, and an N, those are the letters the episode is brought to you by. You might wonder, ladders? What? Well, here's a clip just to jog everybody's memory from the military ceremony that Hegseth and Trump did earlier this week, which was the absolute worst waste of 2 hours of my life. I'll go through some of the absolute hits, but this one I just I'm trying to wrap my brain around.
The firemen go up on ladders and you have people shooting at them while they're up on ladders. I don't even know if anybody heard that. And I said, don't talk about it much, but I think you have to. Our firemen are incredible. They're up on one of these ladders that goes way up to the sky, rescuing people, and you have animals shooting at them, shooting bullets at firemen that are way up in death territory. You fall off that ladder, it's over. And you have people shooting bullets at them in some of these inner cities.
Where? Citation needed? I am just in awe at the stream of consciousness that this nearly 80-year-old man can just roll out for an hour and not actually say anything salient.
Yeah, and his followers will eat it up and act like it was some genius statement.
Hello, Norman.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
the whole thing is just I mean, he's always just from one thing to another, but nothing made any sense. And especially when you put it in the context of we gathered all the top brass in the country for this.
Yeah.
Something
well, it was from all over the world, wasn't it? It was from all.
Yeah.
They recalled them all major. You saw that picture, right? Did you see the crowd picture? They don't look very happy, first of all, and there's a lot of brass. Honest,
you know, a room full of brass is going to look like that, even if it was the best speech ever. I mean, they're trained to be stone faced any damn way, so it's hard to tell.
They're all Bill Belichick. A lot of that
going around. You know, some of them agreed with him fully, and some of them were like, "What?" So you brought us here to call us fat and then ramble at us and make us sit here for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Or actually,
more for them. I mean, we know that the police, the military, they heavily skew conservative. So I'm sure maybe there are some things they agree with, I guess, but I don't know. From what little I watched, it seemed like they were just kind of really fucking annoyed. But again, you can't tell exactly with those professionals, because that's their, like you were saying, that's their thing, to be stoic and stone-faced. But I don't know. I would like to think they weren't very happy with being lectured by fucking Pete Kegsbreath and fucking Donnie McTaco Tits, But
when it comes to Hegseth, I just highlighted Trump's dumbest moment, but here's the scariest thing I heard in that 2 hours.
We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters.
Cool. That's in no way terrifying, especially when we change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and then later Trump suggests that we should use American cities as training grounds for them.
Yeah.
Cool. I see nothing wrong with this.
Yeah, that was definitely the most concerning parts. Where they're talking about disregarding rules of engagement and using
This all could have been a signal
like
chat.
Jesus Christ, like it's another instance of if it was any other fucking president in the history of this country, they'd be impeached over this sort of language, because it would be considered completely anti-American and not acceptable for the commander in chief to be speaking this way. But, it's just another fucking batshit crazy day in the Trump administration, and it just gets swept under the rug by, mainstream media who, it's funny. The liberal media. It's like, no, they're all owned by conservative rich dudes. That we've figured this out by
Almost
now,
solely now.
Yeah.
And what
yeah,
wasn't
well,
has been heavily consolidated recently. Like Larry Ellison buying Paramount with CBS and a bunch of other stuff included.
It's all conglomerates. Others. Yeah, it's nuts. But and I when I first read those or saw those clips, got me going. It's like, what the fuck, the only hope I really cling to is that their own incompetence will continue to defeat them. You know what I mean? Like, thank God this isn't somebody who's actually intelligent trying to pull this shit off, because it'd probably be a lot more damaging. Not that terrible things aren't happening, and I'm sure more terrible things will happen, but we can hope, like I said, that their incompetence will slow them or whatever. But
well, maybe at the very least, it will be the our current government shutdown that will at least stop something in the short term. I mean, like, ICE agents still have to come to work unpaid, and the National Guard and stuff. So that'll be interesting to see how quickly it demoralizes these guys, and really how quickly the Democrats want to, or the Republicans want to actually negotiate with one side or the other, because this is interesting. I mean, I guess we can jump right into that, because if I talk about this topic from the military talking to, because that's the only way to put it. It was the weirdest thing ever. Yeah. As far as an address. And if I talk about it too long, I'm going to get really upset.
Well,
it was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, this administration from the president down is just incompetent. So you got these fucking weird things that happen where you have, someone who's completely incompetent trying to lead and direct people that have been in the military a very long time. So trying to parse out the insanity.
Whose quote unquote fault is it that we're shut down right now?
Whose fault is it that we're shut down? Well, Republicans control every branch of the government, including the Supreme Court. Not the Supreme Court necessarily has to do with what's going on in this moment, but I'm going to say it's mostly them. I mean, I guess you can say the Democrats bear responsibility in the fact that they're not going to vote on a new spending bill until the subsidies for Obamacare are put back in. So I guess that's, to me, is about as much responsibility as the Democrats bear. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Do I think they're shutting it down for a good reason? Yes, because I guarantee you there's at least one person on the right that's like, yeah, they're trying to give them legal immigrants the free health cares, but I got to pay for mine. And then they're going to find out in 4 months that their premiums just doubled because the Democrats aren't trying to pull a fast one on you. They're trying to help you. Do I think that they are the reason we're shut down? Yes, but all the Republicans control everything. And it's not like they didn't know this is coming, and they're just kicking the can down the road only 2 months right before Thanksgiving. So I don't see what benefit that is. They've had all of this time to get their ducks in a row and hash this out before it became a problem. And they didn't want to because they don't know how to govern.
No. Well, the last shutdown was under Trump. What was that, 2018, I think? How long did that one last? That one lasted a while.
That was the
17
longest one, I think,
days
in
or something?
history.
Yeah, like
Hey,
2.5 weeks, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's
35
just
days.
35 days. Okay. So over a month. I mean, that's a long time for somebody to go without a paycheck. We're at this juncture where the Republicans, they can lie about anything and the base just eats it up, like this is the new, they're eating the cats and the dogs, the whole thing. Oh, they want to give illegals. It's funding for illegals and transgender surgeries. That's what the Democrats are fighting for. And it's like, that's not.
But the Speaker of the House said he
Yeah.
can't lie, Ken's Tim.
Yeah. Yeah. They would never lie. And not that that's an exclusively Republican trait. It's just that they really I think they're at the point they know they can just lie and their base is going to believe it. So why not? But yeah, they can't govern. They can only destroy. And I'm not a political expert, but something about with the government being shut down that Trump can just go in and got things now. I've read some chatter about that. And even he said something the other day about, he's going to get together with Russell Vought and they're going to talk about programs or positions they're going to slash while the shutdown's going on. So I don't
just
know.
while the shutdown's going on. That's the thing too, that while it's shut down, they also have a blank check to just literally fire anybody without the kind of recourse that they normally would have pushback on for doing it. So that'll be interesting. That Carolyn Levitt today had already come out and said, in civilian clothes on the street, they interviewed her she's shut down. She's not getting a paycheck. So she gets to wear whatever she wants to work today. Anyway, she had said that it will number at least in the thousands.
But I mean, how is this different than what they've been doing already? And well, like you said, they wouldn't have the normal recourse.
Well, a lot of the Doge ones got put back in anyway later and ended up costing us more money than it saved.
Yeah, they gave a bunch of people a long paid vacation, and then because Elon Musk is a genius. But yeah, I don't know. Somebody's got to do something at some point here. I guess it's going to come down to that, though, right? It's either going to be the Republicans are going to relent and allow the ACA subsidies, or the Democrats are going to give in and let Trump have his way again. I don't know.
Yeah, and at which point, lose any small amount of faith that they have left.
Yeah, because most of us are I don't know, I'm conflicted because I understand that it's affecting people's livelihoods, but at the same time, it's fucking, this is what these fuckers do. They obstruct. That's all they've done since Obama was president. And anytime, that's one thing, I'm not a Joe Biden fanboy, but the amount of legislation that administration got passed with all the obstruction is kind of a miracle. But that's why, like I said, I'm conflicted because it's affecting people's livelihoods, but at the same time, it's we got to start combating them with their own dirty playbook. I think sometimes give them a taste of their own medicine, and we don't know how that's going to go because they've never done it. Democrats usually roll over, so
yeah,
I'm interested to see.
Let's see who blinks first, because
We'll see how long
this
it
one's
goes.
interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But the other thing, did you see the guy who claims that he had old Tinder or Grinder messages from Mike Johnson?
Yeah.
And
I didn't
I
see if
don't
there's any
know.
follow up and if that was a real thing. Did he really release that stuff yesterday?
There's, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything that was released. He made a video claiming that he gave it all to his lawyer and blah 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 blah. This whole thing, but so far it
Okay.
seems like a big nothing.
I didn't actually expect it
Yeah.
to. I know
Yeah.
that there's like a grinder outage every time a bunch of Republicans get together and do a circle Kirk, but
Jesus.
yeah, I didn't expect there to really be a Mike Johnson grinder. So
And what would it really
We'll
change? You know, that's the thing. It's like, you know, I think for a while it seems that eventually there will be a line that will be crossed where people will wake the fuck up, but it's not going to happen. So
I would like
you
to
know,
think that line was, and like again, like we mentioned, not the biggest fanboys of. I hate Chuck Schumer, and Hakeem
Yeah.
Jeffries is only like one step better. But that did you see that AI video of that the White House official account put out with Jeffries in a sombrero, and it's like
no.
AI words that Schumer's speaking, and it's just like it's super hateful and stupid. Like this should be a very illegal use of AI. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like AI to begin with, but Jesus, if we're going, if the official White House account can just use it to smear people they don't like, there's like, wow, we have crossed a line.
Yeah. Well, we just keep crossing them. Well, they did. This is something that they're normalizing. I don't think they admitted to it, but there was the video post Charlie Kirk shooting that people suspected was AI, and it looks like AI. There was the one that just came out that I guess they took down, which was about med beds. Did you see that whole thing? The
Yeah, I
QAnon
did.
med beds. And it's Trump, a fake. It's an AI generated news
Uh-huh.
clip from a Fox News. Yeah, and every American's gonna get a card and blah blah blah. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like,
It's being
there's no
normalized.
standard.
It's not okay.
It's not the bar. Forget the bar being lowered. It's fucking gone. Like there is no bar. It's like,
We dropped that fucker in the middle of the goddamn Pacific.
yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. You ain't getting it back.
So that's the wall I always hit with this shit. It's just like, what? I don't know. Well, things are either going to get bad enough that a few Republicans are going to grow a spine and do what's right, which I'm not counting
Are
on
they?
happening.
Well, you and I both know that our Republican senator is just going to act concerned and then vote for whatever it is anyway.
Yeah. And then, our hope is that, midterms we'll be able to get something done, but are we going to have free and fair elections? Who knows,
Yeah, this is like take it a week at a time because wow, who knows what elections are going to look like in just over a year. There's a lot of time.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go from stupid to depressing because we've had a bunch more fatal shootings that have made big time news. I guess we'll just step in and say there's no more real information on the Charlie Kirk shooting. There's no more real information on the ICE shooter. But this past weekend, same day, two crazies, both ex-Marines. I guess I'll throw in the North Carolina one because there's less information about this one. The shooter, Nigel Max Edge, like, is that even a real name? Because that sounds like an internet made up name. I'm Nigel Max Edge. But not to hype up a killer here, but because he killed 3 people in a bar and then led police on a boat chase where the where the Coast Guard had to catch him.
Oh shit.
There's not much about that other than
This is
that.
North Carolina, you said?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not one I know much about, but just another day in America, another mass shooting. We had like fucking, what was it? 4, 5, 6, I can't remember. And over the weekend, I think it was.
Yeah, but the other major one that got way more airtime was that Thomas Sanford, another former Marine deployed in Iraq, he was 40 years old. There's no available motive as of right now, but he basically set fire to a Mormon church, and there's not even information clearly on how that was started. They just are pretty sure that he did, but there's no official announcement on that, how the fire got started. And then drove his truck into the other end of the church while it was burning down and shot a bunch of people. And yeah, cool. But only liberals do this stuff as of 2 weeks ago. And what really kills me is like the hypocrisy on the right that I've seen. That's just like, well, he wasn't on the right. He was mentally unstable. Okay, so how do you... This wasn't your tune 2 weeks ago, though.
Yeah. It's another thing.
I got your DS9 reference.
Thanks, Norman. It's well, I mean, if you were to believe what we've been shown, he had a Trump Vance sign, and there's that picture that's been going around with him wearing a Trump shirt. And yet you still see MAGA trying to spin it like they were saying it was stop Vance Trump, like some weird thing this guy had orchestrated. It's like, no, he just had a fence on his, or a sign on his fence near a stop sign. But I mean, honestly, at this point, like, do we have to have this race to the bottom every time there's a mass shooting, you know, where we're finger pointing and trying to say it's one side or the other that's doing it? And that's one point I agree with. It's a mental health issue, but where the Republicans could take ownership, and they never will, is that they fucking cut funding for mental health services. You know, you have two ex-services. Yeah, 2 ex-military. You know, we have X amount of suicide veterans every day in this country. It's disgusting the way we fail our veterans. And
that could even go back to, I got thinking about that with some of Hegseth's speech this past week, and like how he's like, well, we've got to return to this perfect warfighter status, and you know, we're gonna like push them, we're gonna push these recruits around, and we're no soft men. And that's, I mean, that's also part of the problem. I mean, I get it, you do need like quote unquote hard men to some degree for the military, but when you are just taught that you always have to be that perfect man and that perfect sense of self, and you can never show any weakness to get help. It's like we're failing them right there up front.
Yeah, well, that's a, you know, there's a stigma around seeking help for fucking anything, but especially mental health, and especially for men, I think. Yeah, it's a good point. But, and again, like, it's just this hearkening back to a time that never existed, like the whole MAGA movement, you know, make America great again. It's like, well, when are you talking about, and who was it great for? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that it wasn't great for. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The guy's woefully underqualified, obviously. But, and you know, to talk about gun violence, 1/3 of all gun deaths are suicide. So it's, to me, you know, if you really want to do something proactively to help cut down gun deaths, that would be a good place to start. but in particular with our veterans. But I don't know, man. It's just becoming what we were having a mass shooting every now and again, and now it's just becoming this like almost every day sort of thing. And it's, I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I know also that nobody's fucking doing anything about it. So.
Oh, you don't have answers? The only other question I had regarding this was, will we ever break out of this cycle of killings, and how do we do it? I know, that's a really easy gimme answer.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't. It's one of those those existential problems that just seems so big to me. I'm not sure. I mean, at this point, it would probably be good to not race to the bottom every time this sort of thing happens, and stop making it an us versus them sort of thing, you know. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to stop either. We're just becoming more polarized. So.
This question by Laura. No, I hadn't heard that. It wouldn't surprise me, especially with like, at the same time, like, I don't think anybody in this White House, like, their only use of AI is to make the stupidest, crudest TikTok style messages ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anybody has the resources to do that, it is them. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you that it didn't happen, because nothing is impossible today. Nothing.
They, there's a whole Palantir thing going, that whole cooperation you have going on where the government's basically commissioned them to, real big brother stuff. So, I mean, it wouldn't doubt me if they were pilot testing some of that stuff on their own guys, but I don't know. You keep seeing these things where it's like we're sliding into fascism and a dictatorship, and I hate to tell you, but we're there, so we're going down that path, which means you either express nothing but loyalty to the dictator, or you could be on the firing line. So I don't know.
Or dissent like us on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Do our God-given right, because, like, we've got to wait for the first two stanzas of the poem where they, like, round up all of the trans people and the brown people, and then they'll come for us.
Then they come for the podcasters. We have
some time. But I have no disillusion that if this goes far enough, yeah, it'll be anybody that says anything that they don't like. Because, like, if you can cancel Jimmy Kimmel, you can cancel all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he has the platform, a big platform, so that makes him a bigger target, but that doesn't mean they won't be coming after random, normal, everyday people for saying the wrong shit. I think next year is the litmus test. I think midterms are the litmus test. We're the courts are holding up a lot. The problem is that they take time to act, but yeah, if we have a free and fair election next year, there's some hope. If what I think is going to happen happens, which is going to be probably ICE presence, because that's his jackbooted thugs. Those are the brown shirts, the old Gestapo. I think they're going to be at polling places. I think they're going to be intimidating people. So once, or I think he has it in his mind to create a martial law situation where he can suspend the elections, because he had said something about that before. In regards to Ukraine.
Yeah. So all he's going to do is spin yarns like how he's getting the military into Oregon right now and into Portland. He's like, oh, it's like World War II there. Yeah. I've seen the video. It's like, really?
War ravaged. That's what he said. War ravaged.
The farmers markets where they're throwing the fruits at each other, and It's so unsafe. I wish somebody would do something about this.
Yeah, goddamn Antifa and their soy foam lattes. Yeah.
Man, I want some of that Antifa money. If anybody got that hookup, you let us know. We will
And
go
then did you see
sponsored by Antifa.
Did you see the quote where he said he talked to the governor, I think, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
we're fine. And he's like, oh, is it not as bad as I'm being shown on television? You know what I mean, or whatever. And it's just like, holy shit, you're the president. Like, you have resources, and you're relying on what, Fox News to find out what's
Yes.
going on across the country.
That's why like half the people that he has put into positions are former Fox News or something to that effect. A lot of them Project 2025 writers. And that will bring me into one of our last things here. The numbers part of the title of this. So you might remember back up a couple of months ago, we fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because they reported numbers that Trump didn't like. So then he puts in E.J. Antony, and now he's pulling his nomination because just over a month later, the numbers that he got from him were not very good either. So I don't even really have a question here. It's just like, will the next person give Trump numbers that he likes?
I think they'll just keep firing somebody till they find someone to lie for them, I guess. I guess it's so bad you can't cook the books your way out of, get out of it by cooking the books. But yeah. What was it? I saw ADP, the payroll service. They just released a report about
numbers. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, contraction. So we're in stagflation right now, which is where
they think the private sector shed 32,000 jobs as opposed to the well, we added like a few tens of thousands, and now like the ADP is saying like no you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Not something that I'm super well versed in. It seems like the information is so scatterbrained sometimes, where they're like, oh, they put up a jobs report and it's this, and then a month later they're like, oh, no, we got it wrong. Like, because that's what they did, wasn't it? They're like, oh, we gained this many jobs, and then they're like, actually.
Well, the thing a lot of people don't realize, and they're like, oh, well, these numbers are all cooked because you change them all the time. Yeah. Okay, well, here's how it works. So the first numbers that come out are based on surveys from a handful of mostly bigger companies as to what they think they're going to hire in the next month. And then the next month, we revise numbers for what actually happened based on both more surveys, because you get more in from the original one that come in late. And secondly, you get to see the actual W-2s and things that are being turned around to report like the real job numbers.
Yeah.
And you can actually go on the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. You can follow all of the numbers that get input and the formula. So that's the real thing. Like, he's looking for somebody that will give him the right numbers, and eventually somebody's going to change the system and just cook the books and be like, whatever. I mean, the books have already been cooked and pretty rosy so that the numbers would look better than they were to begin with, but there's a standardization to how to cook the books. And so if the numbers are being reported slightly down, then that means that they're quite a bit more down. If they're reporting 24,000 jobs lost, it's probably more like 75 or 100,000.
I don't know. It's is that gonna wake people up? Sometimes you wonder that. Are people's economic reality going to head in a direction that enough people are suffering, and that helps turn things in a way as far as trying to get him the fuck out of there.
I mean,
But,
I don't wish that anybody have to struggle to get us to a better place,
No.
but if that's what's got to happen, I mean, the biggest thing in last year's election that was cited was the economy, and people thought that Trump would do a better job with the economy. How are we doing here a year in? Oh, the stock market looks pretty good. Everything else is shit. That's great. I love that for us.
Well, I think that's really been laid bare post-pandemic. Yes, we had higher wage increases under Biden than ever before. But the disparity between how high the stock market is going and the economic reality for, everyday working class people, it's kind of funny, and it's probably just something that's kind of propagated by the upper class, which is that, like, oh, the stock market's doing really well, so the economy's doing really well. Well, when people can't, the value of the dollar has lost like 10% since he's taken office. You go to the store, you spend $100, you walk out with, it was like 10 to 12 is what I saw. But, we all know you go to the store to buy groceries and you can, $100 get you out the door with like 2 bags of stuff these days. So I don't know. But again, then you look at like these red states that have, they perpetually vote in Republicans and nothing ever gets better for them, but they just somehow keep blaming the Democrats. So I don't know. 100% tariffs on movies.
This is what's really going to turn people around. That 100% tariff on movies, the shit ain't going to fly. Not in America. The thing that I think
how do you tariff a movie?
Turn it around is actually the 100% markup on imported drugs now. For the president that just like a month and a half ago was like, I'm going to lower drug prices 1,400%.
Yeah.
Which he didn't realize actually means that they give you money to take the drugs.
Yeah.
Now just put a tariff in effect so that if you're not either making your formula in America or currently building a plant to make your formula in America, it's 100% extra tax marked up. Some of these drugs are in the thousands of dollars to begin with. So imagine taking like a $2,000 drug. Now it's a $4,000 drug every month. I bet the people that need that can afford it.
Yeah. When are those taking it? Do they have a date when these are supposed to supposedly take effect?
I think it's the middle of October, but don't quote me on that one.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually happens. Because his record so far on a lot of this stuff has been, they announce it, and then right before it's going to happen, they decide to either partially or completely roll back the tariff. This is where the taco thing comes from. That was actually given to him by Wall Street, as you know, because they all used to they were getting worked up, because the stock would take a dip, and then it was just like taco, chill out, taco.
President McTaco.
But, so we'll see. I mean, I don't see that being a real popular on top of, trying to take people's health care away from them. What meager, health insurance they get already for probably way too much money. And then on top of that, doubling the price of their drugs.
I mean, at the same time, like, support is relative because, like, all that might mean is that in 2028, people don't vote for a Republican president. But I heard a whole other podcast that I actually ended up turning off this week because they were going into all of these reasons and all of these ways people have stopped supporting Trump. And it's like, in the immediate, does it matter that he actually has any support from anywhere? Because all he's shown since he's been in here is, I'm just going to do whatever I want, even if it violates the Constitution. I'm just going to do it. And we'll FAFO later, and so far that hasn't backfired on him.
Well, he was given a license to kill, as it were, from the Supreme Court. If you are doing something that is can be argued in court that is part of your presidential duties, then you can't be prosecuted for it. So there is no mechanism of accountability, and the rules, as we've seen, only apply if people actually enforce them. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, maybe it'll turn a tide
shaking
in the future,
my head.
But in the immediate, I don't think it matters that he's lost support.
No.
I mean, in theory, this is his last term. I mean, both by being term limited, if he even cares about that, and more to, I don't think he's gonna make it through this term. The man is just too old and unhealthy, but we'll see. I mean, he's also just shown that he's going to hang in there forever. So
yeah, evil can be hard to kill.
I
it seems like these fucking
that way.
Well, I don't mean
just that time is going to.
I didn't mean it like
catch up.
Literally, I'm just saying you see these old fuckers cling on for a long time. Oh, he's got the best health care, that one person could get. I think if he wasn't president, he probably would have died when he got COVID. He got the experimental. He got the experimental drugs that helped him recover. No, yeah, I didn't mean that in any literal way. Obviously, it just, but it does seems like these fucking old rich dudes just they go and go. But who knows? But yeah.
I only have one more thing, and it's kind of minor, and it's something that I wouldn't expect anybody in our audience to have heard of, because it's something that just happened in our state yesterday. So first of all, let's preface this with our question 1 this November is whether you should have required ID to vote. There's a bunch of other stuff tied to it too, like less absentee voting days and repealing write-in ballots unless you're military. So there's a lot to it, and I don't think it was going to pass. But here we are, just a little more than a month out from our state election, and under very mysterious circumstances, a pile of 250 ballots were discovered in a beat-up Amazon package that was delivered. The details are scant, and they were first reported by this outlet that's a local outlet, only in name of they're a very right-wing thing that posts mostly the dumbest stuff you've ever heard. It's called the Main Wire, and if you know the Daily Wire, it's it's a bunch of good old boys here in the state that think that they can do the same thing. And anyway, it was first reported by them, which is weird. Why is it being reported by them? These people with an axe to grind, who then went on to make 30 posts just yesterday alone, all about the same thing, they're all separate articles, when there's no more information other than what was already reported, that there was an Amazon package and it had some ballots in it, some state ballots. And it's just, the circumstances are so bizarre that it's almost like Kash Patel got involved and wrote on some bullets for us.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel suspiciously timed in favor of the people who want to enact those restrictions. I don't know. I didn't really do any follow-up today, but you haven't seen any other follow-up for any other news outlets on this? It's just from them?
I assume it's going to take at least a few days on an investigation, but
yeah,
they've got to have something before election day to make anything feel fair.
You would think that Bangor Daily or Portland Press Herald would have something about it.
Not that I saw today. Yeah. There's no follow-up. And that's more like just either these. I'm not going to go conspiracy theory on this. I will wait for the investigation, but I feel like there's something weird, like these might be fakes or how they were gotten in here. There's something weird, and I don't know what that
Yeah.
is. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's very suspicious because, I mean, this is where an area I'm ignorant in, but how do we get printed ballots to town offices and whatnot? I
That's a
thought that would
great
be,
question.
I would think that would be like a government contracted sort of
Yeah, why
thing
would it
or
show up in
something
an
like that.
Amazon package? That's
Yeah, I
the thing I
mean,
really
unless they were
have
printed
trouble
out of
with.
state and that's how they ship them. But why did they show up at this random place in a really fucked up box? It just seems real
Real weird.
suspicious either way, you know. And again, I mean, say this is legit. Like, how do you get those fake ballots into the ballot collection boxes? You know, that sort of thing. I mean, even just dropping 2 ballots would be suspicious. Like, I think they have a person attending those boxes, you know.
And you'd
So
have to know like exactly who voters are because there's not no checks and balances on these things.
yeah,
There are quite a few ways for the people that tally it to figure out and go back and recanvass to figure out, okay, well these are real.
well, you would know uh, how many people voted that day because they check you in when you go to vote. So first of all, if there was more ballots than people voted, that would be a red flag. If it's an absentee ballot, it has official stuff with it so that they can check it when they get it. There's certain things so that they can make sure it's a
Yeah.
valid thing. So that's why the whole thing, like from 2020 and this, you know, they just, you know, they were saying the ballot drops, like because record numbers of people in 2020 because of the pandemic voted by mail. So you had in these large metropolitan areas, you had ballots coming in late at night because there were so many that needed to be counted, and that was the fuel. A lot of that was the fuel behind Stop the Steal. So, but it's just like you can't just do that. You can't. This stuff is verified. You know, we have mechanisms in place to make sure that people don't cheat at our elections. So again, is it legit? Is this a stunt to drum up support for question one? It seems weird and a little suspicious for sure. But yeah, I would like to see some sort of actual reporting that's not the fucking main wire, which
Yeah,
is basically, you know,
it's
via
gotta come
post.
before the election, though. It won't change the mind of anybody that was already on the like anti one side. It's just good,
Yeah,
even if they find out that this was fine, it didn't matter.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, and speaking
These
of,
goddamn friggin' massholes in our chat down here. Well, thanks. You come to our state and you spend some money and then you friggin' leave, okay? Thank you, Laura.
um, to circle back to the mass shooting thing, the second question is the red flag law question on the
Mm-hmm.
ballot this year.
That failed
Um,
in that case because he was mentally unstable and neither the army nor the cops took his
are
weapons. They did actually go search his house, but
we're talking about the Lewiston shooter?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
it attempted to work at some level, but it didn't.
that's the thing that I get caught up on is I feel like in theory that sort of thing is a good idea. I don't know if in practice it is a good idea. Um, I am very pro 2A. You know,
Yep, same here.
because I I'm liberal, but I'm not like a liberal. I'm very I don't want to say I'm libertarian because of what libertarianism has become, but I lean that way, which is that,
Yeah, me too.
if you aren't harming people with your actions, you should be able to do what you want to do. So I don't know if this is where the whole issue gets tricky for someone like me, because I do think we have to have some form of restrictions as far as trying to keep, weapons out of the hands of people that shouldn't have them. Nobody seems to be able to really how to figure that out. And then what you're saying with the shooter in Lewiston, he had mental health record in the Army, I think, or was he in the National Guard? I feel like they contacted Saco police or something like that.
I think that's how that went.
Yeah,
because I know he had an episode while he was still in the military, and then he was discharged.
Yeah, I think he was like National Guard, and it was like the last time he was, because they go like every so often, they do exercises and stuff. I don't know if I'm remembering exactly, but yeah, they contacted local authorities. The cops literally went to the guy's house like once or twice, and he wasn't home. And they were just like, oh, well, I don't know. We tried to get a hold of him, so.
And one thing I've always heard for like, even having background checks, people are like, oh, well, those don't do anything. They've never saved anybody. The problem with something like that is you will never have a statistic of how many lives were saved because somebody couldn't get a gun on the day of.
Yeah.
Because if you even have to wait a couple of days and you want to do some harm, you might go back and rethink and be like, okay, I've cooled.
Yeah.
So the number can't be zero. But yeah, I don't think there's an easy fix. I've always subscribed to as much as I love to just go and like target shoot, I find it fun. I've always liked Chris Rock's joking solution to the problem. Since we have so many guns in America, we could never take them all. Make all bullets $5,000. And you would really have to think before you did something bad.
Yeah. What does he say? I'm going to kill that motherfucker. Oh, how much? $5,000?
$75,000 worth of bullets in his ass. Yeah, it was, a good joke in the 90s, but now there are just so many guns in private hands. I don't think you could never do a gun grab, even if you wanted to, which I don't support.
No. Well, I think mental health, that's what it's a mental health problem. All right, well, let's fucking do something about it. Let's have universal health care for mental health services. Let's invest in having more doctors and specialists and people to deal with these situations. But at the same time, when some guy's fucking doctor is calling the police and saying he's a trained soldier and I believe he's a danger, let's do a little more than going and knocking on the guy's fucking door and then going, well, we didn't get a hold of him, so because I was like, you should be fucking fired. You bear responsibility for what happened because you didn't do your fucking job. So again, there should be repercussions for people who fail to act when they have that avenue. So I don't know.
All right, let's start wrapping up. Is there any other topic that you heard this week that we either didn't talk about, or do you have any takeaway this week?
I think we covered the major stuff. Yeah, the whole my takeaway is that we're gonna keep riding down the fucking river on this clown show, I guess, that is the Trump administration. And we really need to do something as far as this fucking the mass shooting epidemic. That's all I can call it at this point. But the government they're not even open. So we're at the height of dysfunction yet again under fucking Trump. So we shall see.
Yeah, my only takeaway is we need to be better to each other as a species. I got nothing else because it's a dizzying week. What a time to start a political podcast, but also it is so tiring, even just in a weekly show, to try and keep up with even a fraction of the amount of crazy things going on in the political climate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. That's my takeaway.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think it's a good point. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Adam, I would like to thank you for joining me again this week. And to all of
Thanks
you
for
that
having
tuned
me.
in. We'll do this again. Hopefully there's something better. Maybe we can find one positive thing to talk about. We need a fluff piece. It can't be all gloom and doom. So we'll work on that for next week. Till we see you again, live long